Suit up, strap in, warm the tires, and leave on yellow. Time for the MitsuTimes podcast, presented by MitsuTimes.org, the home of the fastest Mitsubishi cars. With your host, Josh.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Josh from MitsuTimes. Today, my guest is Mr. Ryan Caldwell. He is the owner and driver of one of the best-looking white 2Gs, plus it takes some of the best squat photos out there. How are you doing today, Ryan?
Good, man. Thanks for having me. How you doing?
Absolutely. I'm doing great. I'm glad to have you. I know it seems like here lately it's been all 2G guys on here, but I think they're the only ones that are still racing and want to talk to me.
I don't know about all that. I mean, I think there's more there's probably more 1G guys than there is 2G.
It feels like it at the shootout for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think there's just, you've probably gotten all the 1G guys already.
Yeah, that's true too.
Us 2G guys are at the bottom. It's okay.
All right, Ryan, so why don't you tell us about the setup on your amazing 8-second 2G?
It is a Precision 7685 next-gen turbo, BS Fab turbo manifold. It's a full-filled 6-bolt block, 6-bolt head ported. It's a Fuel Tech FT550 ECU. It's got an Aaron Gregory Racing automatic transmission, and it's other than that, man, I mean, it's got 8 injectors, for the FT550 Fuel Tech 550 pound injectors. So yeah, it's got plenty of fuel, I think.
That's I haven't seen too many people running those Fuel Tech injectors. Is that what a lot of people are doing on Fuel Tech now?
I don't even necessarily know if it's Fuel Tech, man. I mean, you got guys that run those atomizers, in the LS world. It's kind of the same thing. My tuner, Kevin Collins, he actually recommended these. I run 4 2000cc Bosch, I think they are, injectors, and these 550 pound injectors are my secondaries. But he recommended it to me, and I haven't had a single problem with them.
Good deal. Yeah, I'm sure if Kevin recommends it, then it's probably working great.
Oh, yeah.
So, Ryan, how did you get into the 2G platform in the first place?
Well, I had a buddy that, I'd bought my 1G from, and he got out of DSMs, or so he thought he did. And about a year later, he bought this 2G from a guy in Florida. And, the car's immaculate. It has 0 rust. It's a Florida car. I seen that, and, as a kid watching Fast and the Furious, you always want that body style.
Definitely.
At least I did anyway. It's kind of iconic. But I just like the shape of the body. The 1G's a little boxy for me, I guess you could say. Yeah. It's 89 versus a 98, I guess. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much why I chose that platform. And it's aftermarket is there. I felt like there was more aftermarket parts at the time.
Yeah.
For that.
Seems like even to this day, if you're looking for aftermarket 2G interior part or something like that, you're more likely to find it than a 1G part.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the thing is like back then I was looking for, a different kind of aftermarket parts. Not now you got to okay, it's all fab stuff.
Right.
It's not as simple as buying off the shelf.
For sure. So what was this white car like when you first picked it up, Ryan?
It's kind of set up how it is now, man. I mean, it didn't have a carbon fiber hood. I got that. It was a half fill, I think, if I recall. It was a half fill block, 6-bolt with a 7-bolt head. It was an auto car. It was pretty basic auto, just the clutches, and then I had a precision converter. It was like a number 8, I believe. It was nothing to write home about, basically. I mean, it needed some work.
Okay. It sounded like it wasn't very, it was kind of like an older build, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, it had the older S366 on it as a top mount JMF manifold, I believe. It's had a 3-inch intercooler, if I remember correctly, which, it's not even near enough.
Right.
It was, like I said, man, it's pretty basic. At the time, I knew I wanted to make it a drag build. My 1G was my street car. This one, I wanted to be straight drag. As you grow older, you kind of get away from street racing.
For sure.
I street raced with a 350Z back in the day, and I'm glad I got away from it. As you get older, it's you got more to lose.
For sure, yeah, and it's one of those. I feel like nowadays I see street racing videos and I'm like, man, I almost hate to see it now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more the rush with street racing. You get that adrenaline rush, like, oh, I can be caught, I can go to jail. Like, right. Yeah, no, I got kids and a job and
a mortgage.
I can't. Yeah, exactly. I can't risk losing all that for 10 seconds of fun.
So Ryan, when you first picked this car up, it was far from stock. So did you have? I know you wanted it to be a drag car. Did you have a number in mind or a power level in mind that you wanted to hit?
Well, man, originally I just wanted to go 8s.
Okay.
I thought 8s was like the end all be all number. So you learn pretty quick that 8's really. I mean, it's fast. Don't get me wrong, but like it's not that fast. It's once I changed the setup a little bit, I went with I should take this during the one of Kevin Jewer's shit shows up in Marion. I had taken that up there, and I think around like a 1030 and it lifted the head. So, like I said, the build it wasn't all that great.
Yeah.
As far as the engine build, I want to say that the guy who built it, and I don't know who it was, somebody in Florida, but the head was warped. And that was actually the reason why that guy had sold the car to my buddy, because of that. And then my buddy broke his hand, and he found out that he wasn't going to be able to drive the car for a year, and he didn't want to sit on it. So I bought it from him. And that's kind of how it went. So the guy kept having issues because the head was warped. So we figured that out. And then it was a steel rod car. We swapped it out and kind of went full ridiculousness on it. Aluminum rod, full fill. I think actually it was a 3/4 fill at the time. Aluminum long rod, full 3/4 fill. And I think it's mainly turbo tough pistons.
Okay.
And then a non-warped head.
Yeah. A new planed head.
Yeah.
So besides the Precision 76 and that Borg Warner, did you have any other setups on it?
Yeah, I right after the Borg Warner, which I only made like 2 passes with that thing, I went to a Precision 6870.
Okay.
Which is actually what I ran my fastest time on.
Is that the turbo that broke you from a 10 to a 9?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And into the 8s as well.
Oh, wow. So very versatile turbo here.
Oh, yeah. Great turbo.
When you was on the 6870 and broke into the 8s, did it feel like the limits of the turbo, or were you just looking to go to a bigger size overall?
I think we're limited. With the fuel tech, I end up getting a back pressure sensor, and the year previous, before I went fuel tech, and the ECU is not the reason why it changed from, I think it was like a 970 to an 870 now. It was on DSM Link when it went to 970, And then, we changed a couple things to go to the 870. The setup as a whole was pretty much the same other than the ECU and the tuner. And the fuel type. But we didn't, the back pressure sensor that we were monitoring it, and it was where we were at on the 870. I think we had a little bit in it. It might have went at 850, but that's about it.
Okay. So you think, going back and looking at how you did this build from day one, was there anything that you think you would change over if you could go back and change it?
Yeah, I mean, I would say there's a couple of things, I'd waste less money, knowing what I know now anyway.
Yeah.
Because, there's a lot of trial and error kind of deals. I mean, given, the platform's so old, I don't even say so old. The platform's older, so, a lot of things have already been tested, like Shep testing and, Busher and, all those old guys that paved the way for the platform.
Right.
They did a lot of testing, but I feel like there's some new ways of doing things, that we had to fight through.
Yeah.
But luckily we got it figured out.
Nowadays the R&D's kind of done.
Yeah, that's definitely true. You're not fighting through all the pains that they had, back then.
Yeah. So Ryan, what is it about this car that motivates you to keep pushing it? Because, it sounds like 2023 was kind of a disheartening year, but you're not, a lot of people would just part it out and move on to a different platform. That's not the case with you. You plan on getting it back together, getting this new Circle D converter, and going out there and taking a swing for a 7.
I would say my team, man, and my wife, Mike, Chance, Donnie, Kevin, Alex, all those guys, man, they strive to, we strive to make each other better, but also, keep each other's sanity. This year was not my year. I at the shootout, I've been plagued with converter issues all year. I think I've had 3 or 4 break this year. But at the shootout, it broke a 400 foot and coasted to a 560. It was kind of disheartening because I'm like, that was my personal best pass right there.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the year, we couldn't get the 60 foot figured out. And, a couple passes off the trailer, it went a 150, but it went 133 to the 8th. So
that's moving.
Yeah, I mean, we knew with just that mile an hour, like the car, it was going to move once we figured out the 60 foot. With it being such a big turbo, man, we had to, fight through some things. I think we have a very good handle on it now because, like I said, first pass out of the shootout, we went on bottom 130, 60 foot, and, obviously it broke, but I think we got it figured out. The nitrous issues, I wouldn't say nitrous issues. We had just had to find the sweet spot, for boost at launch and, how much nitrous we're putting on it and all that good jazz.
Good deal. Yeah, there's definitely, it seems like things aren't working, then you turn it up too much, and then things break, and then you turn it down, and it's not working. So there's somewhere in the middle where it really wants to live and work.
Especially these big turbos, man. I was lucky enough. The 7685 wasn't exactly the plan. I was going to go with what is that? The 72.9, I think, is what Chance has.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was going to go with because it's a happy medium. It's a good turbo. It's definitely 7-second turbo. The 7685 kind of just fell. I wouldn't say fell. It kind of fell on my lap because Nick Amaral was running. Last winter, he was running raffle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I ended up winning the 7685 out of the raffle. So I can't not run it because it's a $4,000 turbo for $100. So.
Yeah. You'd be silly not to.
Yeah, no kidding. So, like I said, the 7685 it's a big turbo. So, it comes with big turbo problems.
Unfortunately, it's just one of them things, huh?
Oh, yeah.
This episode of the MitsuTimes podcast is brought to you by Alpha Injection Clinic. They offer 6 different sizes of injectors for Mitsubishi platforms, from 1000cc all the way up to 2600cc, as well as DSM Evo resistor pack delete plug. They also sell injector pigtails and plug-and-play adapters. Alpha Injection Clinic is your partner when it comes to upgrading your fuel injectors. Check out all their products at alphainjection.com. So, what are your goals for 2024 with this car, Ryan?
To go 7, man, and to make more than I'd make to make a full quarter mile pass.
Yeah,
that would be fantastic.
So just to run a 7, you want to do a Hail Mary pass, or you want to go rounds on a 7?
I want to go rounds. I'm not into the Hail Mary thing.
Yeah.
I've learned my lessons. With Kevin on the keyboard, it's a very safe aspect. He's not gonna turn it up and kill it. So which I'm completely grateful for, because I don't want to build another motor. Although this year I'm going to build a spare motor and possibly a spare transmission just to have, because 7-second problems, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Okay. What about, would you say that a 7, even a 7999 would be the long-term goal?
Oh yeah, I'd be ecstatic with a 799.
Hell yeah. Ryan, if there's someone out there and they're building a 2G, maybe they're just shooting for a 9 or maybe even an 8 up there where you are, what advice would you give them for their build so they don't, like you were saying, waste the money that you wasted, or buy some wrong parts or this and that?
Keep it simple and put an auto in it. Start with that. Don't go crazy with, you don't need a massive turbo. There's guys on a 6470, Tony Marks, Kevin Collins, he's on an Apex 6470, I believe is what it is. A lot of these guys they're going very fast with small turbos. You don't need the biggest turbo to go, 8s realistically.
Yeah.
Most of them are all auto cars. Not saying it can't be done with a dog box, but you got to have a dog box. That's pretty much what I would do. I mean, just don't think too crazy out of the box. And, you can do it on DSM Link. Fuel Tech's great for the money. And you get more data.
Keep it simple.
Yes. Kiss.
So, Ryan, besides this car and your yellow 1G, have you had any other Mitsubishis in your life?
No. These two are my only ones.
Okay.
I had the 1G, like I said, it was pretty much a street car, and then I think that I won a 1001 actually with that. I was racing the 10.0 index class at Jeweler's shit show, and I think his shit show the first time, and that was during COVID, but it went a 1001, and we ended up lifting the head in the street class later that night.
I think people say that there's a natural progression that you go from 1G to a 2G to an Evo, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I just don't have that in me to want a 4-door race car.
Yeah, I mean, I give it to the guys with Evos, man. That Evo tax is a real thing.
Yeah.
It's not cheap. I prefer, like you said, 2-door race car. There's the Evos are quick, but I'm not willing to pay for it. It's almost double the cost of a motor for, a DSM as it is for an Evo.
Right. Especially when you start looking into the Evo X market. I mean, the 10s is just nuts how much just a block is.
Yeah, that it is. But I mean, those guys at Exigent Solutions, Ryan and Glenn, they do great work on those Evo X motors.
Yep. It's just that the Evo 10 tax, I guess, huh?
Oh yeah, it's Evo tax is an Evo tax, just like GTR tax.
Yep. So Ryan, what events can we go out and see your car in action in 2024?
Definitely the shootout, man. Maybe some local test and tunes. I'd like to get into some no prep stuff, but it's all depending on when, the Circle D converters are going to be coming out.
Right.
They plan for, a year out from when we met that order date. But, I think that was in August. So you're talking mid-season damn near.
Yep. That's a tough one.
Yeah, I'm not.
Do you think that there's a World Cup in your future?
Possibly one day. My turbo doesn't fit. I guess it would fit, but
Just not to any classes that any DSM would be competitive at.
exactly.
Yeah.
If I was to do that, I would do exactly what Tony and Kevin and all those small turbo guys are doing, and go with a 6470 and let it eat that way, because there ain't no way in hell I'm going to be able to be competitive with a 7685. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yep. Sadly, I do know what you mean, and hopefully, I know Kevin is working on trying to get it a little bit more fair for the DSM. So I hope some more people, even if you have to go down to the 6470, I hope that we can convince some more people to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have nitrous with these cars, man.
Right.
I think that's what Kevin was fighting them about.
Yep.
I think I can't even remember exactly what he told me, but he had said something like he told them guys he would give them like a second head start or some craziness, or something crazy if he could use nitrous, and they still told him no.
Or a 100-pound weight penalty.
Maybe that's what it was. You give him 100. He would take on 100 pounds if he could use nitrous, and they said no.
And watching them try to burn it down on the tree, just trying to get it on the converters, that's tough.
It's rough, man. Especially being an auto guy. Like, I know what that's like.
Yeah.
Like, if your nitrous ain't working, even at a testing tune, I've had it before I had my wiring harness done. Kevin wired my entire car, and obviously he tuned it too. But before he went through it all. When I had the stock harness and all that jazz, I had all kinds of problems. Like, my nitrous would work one pass and it wouldn't work the next pass. And I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
DSM wiring gremlins, I guess you can say.
Well, I mean, like you said there, getting on 30 years old, kind of cheap wiring really for what the car is. So it's a matter of time.
Yeah. And, that's another thing that I would recommend for, 90% of DSMs. If you're trying to go racing, get a new harness.
Yeah.
It'd make your life easy.
And you have especially if you have a ECU where maybe you don't have fail safes, a new harness might save your car from burning to the ground.
Yeah, I've seen it happen too many times.
Yeah. So, Ryan, where can people find and follow you on social media?
Well, my name on Facebook, and then that DSM on Instagram.
Okay. No TikTok yet?
No, I'm not on that fad. My wife is, but I'm not.
See a lot of DSM guys on there, but they're younger guys with mostly non-turbos.
Yeah.
So, Ryan, at the end, I always give people a chance to give thanks or a shout-out to anybody who's helped them get where they are, get their car where it is. Is there anybody that you want to give a shout-out to?
Yeah, man. My team mostly, those guys strive me to do everything. They've helped me, pretty much with every aspect of my car, the build itself when I first got it. But my team, Mike, Chance, Donnie, Alex, and Kevin, and most of all, my wife. She strives me to, keep at it. And when I want to part it out, she talks sense into me and tells me to go back downstairs and start working on it. But that's how it is. Obviously the guys that helped me along the way, man. Aaron Gregory, he's been awesome. He's helped me a lot with my transmissions. Great builder. All the guys that helped me from the beginning. Kevin Collins, especially, man. Like that he's turned my entire program around. Like he's the reason why I'm still racing. Obviously with my team, but he's made the car go what it does. Hell
yeah, that's awesome, man. A lot of people seem like go to him whenever they want to really be competitive, and that's really what we need right now.
Yeah, I mean the whole early team, honestly. Jared's great. Jared showed me a lot of things over the past couple of years. Kevin's been tuning my car for the last 2 years. Wow. But yeah, man, they're great, honestly.
Good stuff, man. Well, Ryan, I appreciate you taking the time to come on here and tell your story, man. And I can't wait to see this thing back in action for 2024 and to get that 7-second slip. I hope it happens this year.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to the MitsuTimes podcast. Check out our Instagram and Facebook for daily updates. Get added to our list by going to MitsuTimes.org and clicking Submit a Slip. Thank you to all of our sponsors.